Welcome, everybody. I would like to pay my respects to the traditional custodians on the lands on which we are meeting today. It is my pleasure to present to you, along with my presentation partner, Daniel, who I'll introduce in a moment, a webinar about the impact of artificial intelligence on travel and tourism. Daniel and I have been working together now fairly seriously over the last few months, but I first met Daniel about a year ago at the Australian Regional Tourism Conference, and I was so impressed with what Daniel was working on with his Trvlr.ai app. It really sparked in me a curiosity about what the impacts could be and the opportunities of artificial intelligence. And Daniel is, I can tell you, is a very talented developer, innovator, and entrepreneur. And he's taken the Trvlr.ai app a long way, and he'll be able to present that to you today. But it also means, because he has been absolutely immersed in AI as an enabler for travel and tourism, he's a great person for us to pick his brains about what he thinks the future holds. Myself, if I'm unfamiliar to you, I'm Liz Ward, one of the co-founders of Tourism Tribe. And Tourism Tribe, we've been in business. We're a private organisation, my business partner, Fabian Wintle, and I, for close on 10 years now. And what really drives our passions is being able to see the tourism industry, both destination marketing organisations and operators and consultants, converge on new thinking and be able to digitally transform as technology keeps changing. And so presenting something like this is has been a real passion project for me. So thank you very much for joining us. We are recording this webinar, which means that we will be able to send to you a link to it if you would like to share it with anybody else, along with links to contact Daniel and I, should you wish to continue the conversation. Now, I think this is a super important topic, and it does reflect on how long I've been on the planet and how long I have been working in technology for travel and tourism, to say that this isn't the first technology revolution I've seen. And having been part of Web 1.0, with the first websites, connecting people with great content. We didn't even call it content then, in the late 90s, about destinations. That was a revolution in terms of people being able to access the internet. This is another digital revolution that I'm seeing, where AI is a real catalyst, amongst other technologies like automation, for example, the importance of analytics, but it is causing another revolution. And in manufacturing, they're saying that with AI and those other technologies as part of digital transformation, we're actually coming towards the fourth industrial revolution. And it's moving at such a pace, I think, for any of us to predict what the impacts are going to be is really difficult, but we can look at what is really happening now. And so what we're doing with this presentation today is we'll have a look at what is really happening now, and try to get our heads around the fact that it's moving really quickly. Daniel is going to help us to look at particular AI apps in travel today. So we'll have a discussion about that, and he'll do some live demos. And then what I'd like to share with you is something I've been working on, which is a strategy, a structure for a strategy for implementing artificial intelligence into your business or into your destination marketing organization. But I'm just curious to know, and so that I'm not the eldest person in the room or the only person of this vintage in the room, who else was working when Web 1.0 came upon us? Could you do a hands up, test your hands up? Ah, great. Do you know what that says to me? There's some real experience in the room. And we've got the war wounds to show it. But it sounds like there is also a lot of youthful exuberance in the room as well. And we can all learn from each other. It's so important in technology. Okay, so just to very briefly, I don't know what you define artificial intelligence as, but we look that up, and there's a raft of meanings in there about simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems, and that these processes that are done at speed and accessing an incredible amount of data and using a variety of tools can include learning, reasoning, problem solving, perception, etc. They're all designed to usually perform tasks that would normally require human intelligence, such as recognizing speech, making decisions, identifying patterns in data. And as we know, that happens at lightning pace compared to what we could do as a mere mortal. Daniel and I decided that we think the simplest way to describe AI is that it's the ability for a computer to replicate human thinking. Yep. And I underscore the word human there because that will circle back to that concept. And when we look at what's happening in AI today in travel and tourism, it's very much focused on the human. So let's take a look at how hospitality it has been for the last 7 or so years, leading the way in experimenting and innovation, incorporating AI. And there's a lot of examples around, but there's a few that I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of, and you can always go and Google these and have a look. Hilton in 2016 brought in Connie, the robot concierge. And there's a lot of media coverage about that. It was a partnership with IBM. And so Connie was able to answer all the questions, be wherever you need her to be, and, make the customer experience in the hotel much better. And there's quite a few examples of that, if you Google that, of different concierge robots that are being utilised or have been trialled. Rose is a AI chat bot, so delivered through your phone typically when you're at the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas. The thing that I learned about Rose that I think is a really important differentiator is Rose really does, they've developed her so that she has a personality that adapts to the situation. She's on brand. So she's very much on brand with the Cosmopolitan and Las Vegas. So that destination brand of being fun and a little bit elusive, or whatever Cosmopolitan links into the brand values of Las Vegas. And so she's very well regarded. It's like people are talking to somebody. And I think that's something we can all think about moving forward with chatbots. They are so vanilla and boring in the way they give back the information. So it's something we can act on straight away. The other one I really like as an example is the Six Flags Entertainment Group, who are the largest regional theme parks company in the States. And they have gone through, and it's well published, it's well documented, which is great, which we can all sort of look at and go, well, how does that apply to me in my organization? What parts of this can I take on board? And they've done an AI digital transformation project, which demonstrates, I think, just looking at these summarized dot points about their digital transformation project, it demonstrates putting your guest at the center of those possibilities of what is now possible through technology, incorporating AI to improve their experience. And for me, that's where it's really at the moment with AI, is that focus on guest experience. And I like the way that they have touched on so many areas there. So AI powers personalization, which is a really big capability today and even more so into the future with AI. Pre-visit planning and a new loyalty program. It features Missy 6, an AI concierge mobile app and wallet. And you can imagine having just that concierge app with you all the time in a theme park, how useful that would be to and incorporating that with their AI-powered things around parking, live ride wait times, all of that would be working together. Video capture on roller coasters, expanded e-gaming platforms, tick once again right on point with evolving technology. E-gaming, esports is a massive growth area. I'm particularly aware of this because my son is an entrepreneur and has an esports platform, and they've been working on that, he and his business partners, and that's really getting traction in schools in the States. So this is a massive growth area, and we'll see that incorporation of gaming techniques coming in to consumer experiences and integrating AI. And then implementing the final point, the world's largest AI-driven drowning prevention system in water parks. If a digital transformation project for a theme park did not hit on safety, I think they probably missed an important person at the table. So it's all about safety. So I think, that's a great example of how a tourism business is leading on digital transformation with AI at the heart of it. But what about growth? Social media peaked its annual year-on-year growth rate in 2017 at just under 21%. Tourism annual growth rate predicted to be 4% year-on-year till 2029. Artificial intelligence global growth rate is annually at the moment 28.5%. So it's outstripping other trends. And any of you who have experienced ChatGPT, it was for me, my first introduction to was my first time I really got it about what is AI and how can I use it and what's it capable of. Because what ChatGPT did is it put it in the hands of every person who was curious, and it taught us so much, just giving us an initial understanding of what the possibilities are. And the growth rate was incredible. So in 5 days, they achieved ChatGPT, which uses OpenAI, which Daniel will refer to. They achieved 1 million users in 5 days. And you can see it compared to these other major platforms. And Daniel, you made a good point when we were preparing this presentation about social media supporting the growth.
Yes, so ChatGPT does have the platform where it can use social media to grow faster. So there is that element as well, which just makes things explode.
And wasn't there before. So
Yeah,
now with this tech revolution, it's
yeah,
even
precisely.
moving faster. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Could I ask for a hands up, please, who has used ChatGPT? Okay, that's great. So we've got half of our audience, and I'm going to poll you in a moment for just a couple of other questions, who know what the capabilities are. So that's really good. It's a great starting point, I think. But I'm going to run a poll and just ask you, it's a very, very simple question. It won't take you a moment to respond. So I'll just run that and then we'll just get a better feel for where the audience is at. Has that come up on screen for people, that poll? Not for me. Okay, let me just go back. I'll just launch it again. Yes, people are answering it. Great. Karen, it will just come up on screen for you, the poll. It's still open. Okay, sorry, I can't answer why some people aren't seeing it. Oh, sorry, that's fine. You're answering it. So, okay, that's fine. That's fine. We've had 97% of people have answered it. So I'll stop it there and I'll just share the results with you. Can you see those results? They come up on screen? Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just read them to you just in case. So we had the largest number of people said that they are using AI both at home and in their personal life. In their personal life and at work. We've got 24% said they're using it in their business life. So you could only tick one box. 18% not at all. Great. So you'll be sitting back you will really enjoy Daniel's demos then. And then we've got just 8% using at home in their personal life. So business and saving time, I think we'd all agree, has been one of the key motivators for us to use it and to simplify things, to make it easier. And I'm sure you've got loads of examples of how you're using AI. And if anyone would like to chat how they're using AI, I think that would be great. Let me just have a look and just see. Again, feel free to chat. Like if anyone's got any examples of a killer way in which they're using ChatGPT or AI, I'm sure that others would love to read that in the chat. So be sure to chat to everybody. All right. Okay. So I'm going to move in now to, you're going to hear a lot more from Daniel, a lot less from me now. But Daniel, if you could start by telling us how you actually got into travel tech. I know that wasn't something you probably planned to do originally, AI, trip planning. Just how did you end up here?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me, Liz. It's an absolute honor to be here. I'll give you a bit of about my background that'll sort of answer that question. My background's engineering, so I've always had a fascination for planes. And in 2011, I moved to London, just sold everything, went to London, thought, okay, let's see what happens. And I was very fortunate. I got onto the British Airways graduate engineering program. And over the next 18 months, I rotated through engineering departments and discovered I like engineering, I don't like being an engineer. And I was very, very lucky that an opportunity came up to work in innovation and technology. And my role was basically go to departments, find out where some inefficiencies, what problems are they having, and then go out and find technology to solve those problems. And it was during this time that I really discovered my passion for travel, tech, innovation. And another benefit of working at an airline is holidays. So I got to go on a lot of very, very cheap holidays. And ironically, my style of travel was book a flight, book accommodation, turn up, see what happens. I really didn't enjoy holiday planning. I just thought, oh, we'll just go there, see what happens. And I very quickly discovered that I would miss out. So I'd spend a lot of time sitting in the lobby, asking myself, what do I want to do today? And I'd come back with this sinking feeling of, I've missed out. So then one day I went on a 2-week holiday to New York with a friend, and she planned the heck out of the trip. So every single day, this is what we're doing. This is what we're seeing. This is how much it's going to cost. It was just to an nth degree of detail. And it was one of the best holidays I'd ever been on. So I came back from that thinking, well, I want an itinerary that works, but I don't want to spend 3 months planning. I'm just not going to do it. And so that's when the idea for Trvlr came about, a platform that the focus, the idea is how do I have a richer, better experience at my destination that's really tailored to me, but I don't have to spend 3 months planning. It's at my fingertips.
I love it. So you invested in your own trip planner.
I wanted to solve my problem.
Nice. Yes, good.
And so
Well,
then
that's
I
one
came
way
back
to
to
do it. Go raise $1 million in investment and build your own. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
awesome. That's
So
awesome.
yeah,
That New York planning trip, I
yeah,
think just to set the scene, what
yeah,
did that look like for you? What would you have done when you didn't
yeah.
have AI to help you?
So let me share my screen. I'll just walk you through
Hmm.
briefly. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can now.
So what I would do is go through websites such as this one, which is the New York City Pass, and I'll just scroll through attractions. I'd visit maybe 10 of these, read blogs, and really shortlist these are the attractions I want to see. So I put that into a Word doc. I then map everything into Google Maps to try to see how do I group it in a way that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to try to fight this logistical battle of how do I get the things I want to see on this day together and book it at the same time. And the end result is some crazy document like this. We've got maps, you've got information, you've got everything mapped out. And look, there's a reason this took 3 months. It's a lot of work, especially the
Yeah.
logistics, the bookings.
And this, I mean, I know we've got some destination marketing organizations listening in, and I'm thinking, how does that compare? Like at the moment, I could go to most DMO websites and pull up a suggested itinerary, which would have some really good highlights in there and some good content. But you weren't looking for that. You were doing what a lot of other consumers look for, and that's really at that planning stage and adding in the logistics so that you knew that you could get somewhere by when. All right, that's great. That's great. So thinking about ChatGPT, how would that look on there? Sort of how has that made planning easier? And I know I've done this experiment quite a few times, but we'll do it. I'll get you to do it
Yeah, let me
the
just
audience.
open it up. So I did an example the other day where I wanted to plan a trip to Brisbane. And in this case, I chose 11th to 14th of October. So it's a little bit in the past. And then I put in a couple of extra details. Well, I want to take kids. I want to do some exciting activities. And the result is impressive. So the speed at which it pumps out information is very, very impressive. And I found it very inspirational. So it's very good at giving you ideas. But the problem is, first of all, if you know Brisbane, you can look through this. And I saw this and I saw Treetop Challenge in Mount Cootha. I know Mount Cootha quite well. And I thought, how have I not heard of this? This sounds amazing. And then I did a bit of research and found out this doesn't exist. So there was an article written about wanting to do the Treetop Challenge. So if you don't know Brisbane, you would think this sounds amazing, but that doesn't exist. And then if we look a little bit further, for example, and we come down to the final day, it says, if you've got some time, just quickly rush off to the Workshop Rail Museum. That's in Ipswich. That's not a quickly go there. So what it's really good at is taking what you're interested in and making recommendations. The shortfall is the logistical side of things, the availability and data attractions that actually exist.
So thinking about the travel purchase cycle, for people to self-help on inspiration based on needs, providing the websites are out there with accurate content on it, then they can get a text. At the moment, they can get kind of a text report back that is the starting point for their planning, but then they need to move to that next level.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
great, great. And is there a more visual version that you can demonstrate? Because the text is tourism promotion or marketing without images, that's not right. If it's
Yeah.
inspiration phase of the journey.
So a few companies have popped up. They've quickly been able to jump onto the AI. For example, one of them's Plan Buddy. An example here is if, let's say, you're going to Brisbane. And what it does is it takes you through a series of questions and it then uses those to create a prompt for GPT, ChatGPT or OpenAI. I think it also uses its own data so that you're not going to get attractions that don't exist. And what you end up with is a more
Daniel, can I
visual.
just ask you, just for the benefit of people who are really unfamiliar with AI and haven't used ChatGPT or anything, could you just explain what OpenAI is just really briefly? Because that's what ChatGPT uses.
Yeah,
And
so it's a generative AI or a learning language model. So it's all based on probability. So it looks at whatever daily data you make available to it and then says, well, what is the most probable answer to it? So in the case of this Brisbane trip, what I asked for it, it went out and every single answer here is the most probable answer based on the data available to it. So take for example, Treetop Challenge. There's probably a lot of articles out there about Brisbane wanting to do the Treetop Challenge at Mount Cootha. And so OpenAI saw that didn't realize the context of it's not actually available. It's just a conversation said, well, the most probable answer for you is the treetop challenger Mount Coot-tha. So it's probability based on data.
Thank you. Right. Sorry to interrupt, and I hope you remember where you're at. There we go.
Yeah, no, that's all good. So Plan Buddy will take you through a series of questions to create this prompt. So when I typed into ChatGPT, they will take that information, turn it into a prompt, and it can also provide the type of data and then pop out this itinerary, which I think is a step up, and it's more useful than ChatGPT, but it's built on the back of ChatGPT, and it still suffers of some of the logistical issues. It doesn't have booking either. It does have some links where it can send you off, but the reality is it creates an itinerary where you then have to check the availability, and those two things might not marry up. So it might say go to at 11 a.m., go and do this tour, and then you go and check the tour and it's not actually available.
Yes, yes, yes. And that would cause more issues for tourism operators to deal with than, potentially benefits if people just roll up or, think that they can book and then they're cranky that they can't. And yes, I
It
see
is
that.
very inspirational though. So I think it helps with the planning and inspiring, but it still doesn't solve my problem, which was I want an itinerary that works.
Yes. And this model is what we're seeing here. I don't know if they have, do they have a B2B model to destination marketing organizations? This is the B2C model. And you have to pay to unlock the full itinerary. It's $50
So this is
a year or
B2C.
something. Yeah.
This is B2C, and they charge you $50 to then unlock the itinerary. So that they're not doing the bookings, so therefore that's their way of making money.
So we've seen kind of the content coming back. What about customer engagement and improving how it's done today? Even from I know a lot of tourism operators, I can't convince so many destination marketing organizations, but tourism operators now have some kind of chat on their website to be able to service customers. But what about advancements in chats? What have you seen there?
Yeah, so there's a company, for example, Guide Geek, and they create a chat which also plugs into OpenAI, but it's a lot more tailored. So they've created their own rules to make it more tailored to trip planning and trip ideas. I think this is a great way to engage with customers. So if you have a website, you can have a chat, and then a customer can open the chat and say, I'd like to plan a trip to Brisbane, let's say from 18th to 20th of October for a family with fun activities. Oh, I forgot to say please. I think you should always say please to AI. Be nice to it. Don't know when it'll rebel.
That's right. I completely agree.
So then it's thinking, creating. You can ask it questions about specific attractions. So this is a nice way to engage. It does also suffer though from the ChatGPT, which is the logistics side. And so let's say I want to book it. So can you help me book this, please? Hello. So can you help me book this? So it doesn't do booking. It points you in directions, but it still doesn't do booking. And to me, that's really part of the key is it bookable? Is it not bookable? Because if it's not bookable, it's an idea.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Once again, this is for those people who are looking for ideas. It's kind of that early stage of the travel purchase cycle. I know I had a play with this not that long ago too, and I was on my phone, and the experience there might be slightly different because when I asked, could you book this for me? It put together kind of the itinerary. It said type in agent, which I did. We're connecting you with an agent, but I think 6 hours later, they were still connecting me with an agent. So it's once again an early product that improves the performance of your chat and projects out at the inspiration phase some content that could be helpful, but just a bit difficult to continue the conversion journey, isn't it? It's just like a bit of a dead end, really. But that's it's good to see it out there. And I think a few destination marketing organizations are adopting this, which is
it's
good to
definitely
see
it's
people trying.
engaging.
So I think quite a few people have signed up for this webinar because they want to see a little bit about Trvlr.ai
Yeah.
and how it is different. And just before you do that, Daniel, in my experience, having worked in tech and tourism for a long time now, one of the things, I really feel like Daniel solved a lot of the problems that other online travel agency websites or booking websites haven't been able to. And we'll see this now, but I don't think I've ever really kind of gotten behind a product like this before, because nothing's been, mind-blowing enough or well-developed enough to do that. But I really think that Daniel's got something great here. And the fact that it's an Australian innovation, I am very supportive of as well. So I'll let you do your quick demo, Daniel, but people can also contact Daniel afterwards. He's happy to do a 15-minute, just take you through and chat about what it could mean for you.
Yeah, thanks, Liz. So this particular example is for Things to Do Sunshine Coast, one of our clients. So we do B2B, we don't do B2C. Our motto is we want to help existing travel organizations really enhance their user experience. So let's just select dates. We'll go for the weekend, 18th, 19th, 20th. Then you can choose how many adults, how many kids. You then have the option, you can either say, well, can you please help me plan my trip? Or I would like to explore the destination. So we're really trying to target everyone's style of travel and whether they're in destination or out of destination. And what you can do from here, if you want to explore, is just look at attractions, add them to your trip, and we tell you how full is your trip, how many experiences have you got, how much is it going to cost. And you can do this and then create your trip, and it turns your select attractions into an itinerary. And what we're doing, we've plugged into several booking platforms, for example, Resdy, and our data, when we create the trip, we're always checking for availability, making sure that what we're building for you is bookable. The last thing we want to do is create this fantastic itinerary, and then you go off to try to book it and it says, no, sorry, that's not available. So that's the first option, is for people who really want to explore and add things themselves. Then we've got the option to say, well, help me plan my trip. So we could say, well, which images really inspire you? So we could say, well, Sunshine Coast, I want to go hiking, I want to go to the beach. Glasshouse Mountains, that looks cool. I also like the markets. So plan my picture perfect holiday. So what we're doing now is we're creating a persona. So whether you have kids or don't have kids is taken into consideration. If you've chosen you want to go out for drinks and you want to do tours, we might recommend a rum, wine, axe throwing tour or something. But if you've got kids, we obviously won't recommend that. So what we've done here is we've got the seaplane flights, then Mount Coolum climb. Then we've got the markets, walks, markets, and a beach. So what's going on in the background is we've fed in attractions that we know are available. We've created a persona for you to create a short list of what we recommend. Then to solve the spatial awareness and the logistics side, we've actually created our own spatial awareness AI. And we take the attractions that we have recommended for you, combine that with our spatial awareness to create this itinerary. And we also think that there's an element of you need to be in full control of your trip. So for example, you might say, no, this is a little bit too much hiking for the day, so let's remove that. So you can very easily edit, change things, change how much time you want to spend on a location. You might say, no, I don't want to do public transport, I want to drive. Yeah, so you've got full control. You can even go back to things to do, add things into your trip, and it'll, yeah, chuck it in. And then once you're happy with your trip, you can say, well, finalize my trip. And what we do is we take you through to a booking page. So here you can either individually book attractions. If you had multiple attractions that cost money, then you could pay for them in a single single transaction. So we're talking to Resdy, FareHarbor, and a few other systems, and it's a single payment transaction. The idea being really getting people to support more local attractions. We also generate an itinerary that is mobile friendly, and this itinerary takes you through your day. So you can say, well, I want to get directions to this. It also can show you nearby restaurants. So if you're at the location feeling hungry, show me what restaurants are nearby.
The other thing, Daniel, I think is worth mentioning, a lot of people on this webinar are, industry leaders and are fully aware of the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse in terms of a platform. And I know that that's going to be really empowering for this data set as well, isn't it, when you integrate, because you'll be able to bring in those layers that really meet consumers' needs around, I shouldn't call them layers, you're probably going to use tags or whatever AI data function you'll do, for people to be able to select based on green credentials. So those data standards that ATDW will hold, and accessibility, for example, and the data there. So that's going to be great, just really working even more closely with consumer requirements and those trends. And there's been a question and I think it's a good one in the Q&A, which is probably relevant to answer here because I know enough about your development that you can answer this, is by letting people formulate their own itineraries or pushing through AI suggested itineraries rather than the destination market organisation curating a set of ideal itineraries. Aren't we exposing certain attractions to over visitation because everyone might want to go there and da da da? And I know that we can't control that because, for example, social media is usually the driver of that lots of people will go there, or it's a TV series that is shot on location and then everyone is stopping there, like in Sicily with the oh God, the name escapes me now. Somebody's going to put it in the chat, the name of the show, and how everyone was rocking up at the hotel to do photos. However, you've got the ability for the DMO to influence that, haven't you, in terms of what they return?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things with this, because if we go back to the edit trip and look at these images, the reason we went for images is because, for example, with Sunshine Coast, they'd like to promote their scenic flights, and not very many people tick, yes, I want to do a scenic flight. But when they see an image, they're much, much more likely to say, oh, that looks really good. And that then promotes some of the attractions they would otherwise not have seen. So that's one aspect of it. The second thing is we've given DMOs, so our clients can add weightages to certain attractions to change how much it gets pushed and to promote it. You can leave it as zeros and just it's neutral and let the AI sort it out, but you can also change which attractions get pushed a bit more through weightages.
Thank you. That's great. There's some really good questions coming through, and I just think that I'm just putting DMO in here. Somebody said, what does it stand for? There we go. Great. Because we assume things sometimes, even though I'm really careful with acronyms normally, I miss that one. So some White Lotus. Thank you, Karen. I just went blank on the TV show. Yes, it's White Lotus I was thinking of. So there's been a few questions. First of all, somebody was wondering for a laugh if you'd share your New York itinerary. There are lots of people prior to that saying how they're using ChatGPT. This is just in the comments, or tools like that for speeding up preparation of documents, emails, handling complaints, writing review responses, etc. And Michelle, you asked a question about AI programs. Look, I work in ChatGPT, and I've really kind of learnt to train myself to make sure I get my requirements in really well in the prompts and keep prompting it until it is giving me good quality responses out of it. And also, as much as possible, I try to feed it my original thinking and content, because if you just use a straight ChatGPT creation of a document, it lacks that personal touch, and it lacks your experience. And it's really important when you are writing documents, particularly for the web, that you include your experience in it. So that's some general comments. There was a question around, do you link with Fair Harbour, which you do, Daniel? And somebody asked about Guesty. They connect that on their booking system. I'm not familiar with Guesty, but I'll let you answer that.
I don't think Guest is one of them. So the main ones are Resdy, Fair Harbour, and Resdy's then got further connection with about another 10 or 11 systems. We have got an agreement with Resdy that attractions or experiences that want to be listed on on Trvlr, they can now create a free account just to enable them.
Mm.
But we are always looking to expand and add more integrations.
Yes, yeah. And what people need to understand is this is all attractions, free and paid attractions and experiences like tours, for example, now. But what you're working on is the inclusion of restaurants or places to eat, which is a really important part of travel, we all know, and accommodation.
Yeah, particularly accommodation. So with restaurants, we currently show you what's near you when you're on your trip. We're still trying to figure out, is it good to plan all of that in advance? Do you want a restaurant planned in every single day, or is it sometimes a bit more spontaneous? You're on the move. Oh, that looks good. Let's go there. Yeah, so still working on what's the best way to do that it really makes sense for a visitor, and accommodation will be coming up.
Mm, mm. No, that's great. Thank you. So that answers some of those questions. And there's been some questions about, as an operator, could I have this on my website for touring options? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
certainly.
absolutely. Absolutely, for people to be able to have something that is branded your business, but you're providing this valuable service and helping to extend their stay potentially. As a regional operator, you're helping to increase dispersal by doing this. And in all cases, itinerary planning tools, they can contribute to that. As we know, if people understand what is possible, it's worth staying longer in a destination, then it can grow that. The other thing, Daniel, is you've got tremendous data at the back of this. So as we all grow up and mature with our use of analytics and using data for decision making, and it's one of the hardest things when you've been in business for a while, I think, and you have your standard metrics for measuring your performance, which often can be about number of sales and financial, understanding the capability of customer data for decision making about your marketing or improving your product. That is just something we all need to move to, that capability.
Yeah, absolutely. So at a quick glance, this is an example of Sunshine Coast and the data that sits behind it. So there's a tremendous amount of data, and we can tailor it to what they would like to see. So in this case, they've had 660 itineraries made, of which 214 have gone all the way through to booking. This is how much customers are spending, average number of attractions, average number of people, average length of stay. What are the most popular attractions? So your Monday market doing extremely well. And then month-on-month trends. We can tailor this to what our client wants, but there's a wealth of data sitting behind this.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm just answering some questions there.
No
I'm
worries.
just going to the Q&A and check those. Okay, question just to clarify, where is the data coming from? Which is, you've got various sources, haven't you?
So do you mean the experience data?
Where is the data being pulled from? I'm sorry, and as an operator of one of the businesses being pulled out, how do I make sure I'm noticed by AI? So that's the product content, isn't it?
Yeah, so if it was on Trvlr, we'd make sure to have the correct tags in place, descriptions, so that AI can really recognize, is this the right attraction based on a person's persona?
Thank you. Do attractions pay to be on this, or is the destination, LGA, etc.? At the
No,
moment, your business model is going to the destination LGA organisation who pay a very low setup fee and can also share in a very competitive, we can get the commission rates down to a really competitive level compared to what you would pay with the internationally owned OTAs. And then the DMO can take a share, a small share of that, to pay maintenance fees on this and get all the upgrades. But no, the operator is not paying, but you would pay a base commission. Yeah. As a small accommodation, can you clarify how this can be used? I think for you as a small accommodation business, once accommodation is in here, then it's going to give you greater exposure. You kind of don't have to do much. It's just another online channel for you that can get you exposure. So just like you have a balanced distribution strategy where you are driving at direct sales, but also you have distribution through online travel agencies or your visitor center, whatever you're doing, this is another channel, but it's going to be a leading channel that a lot of people are going to want to use because of its functionality.
Just to add to that, accommodation could also plug this in as a service as part of what they offer. So their visitors could be sitting there having breakfast saying, well, what do you want to do today? Open up Trvlr, say, okay, well, today I feel like doing this. It generates an itinerary and accommodation could take a clip on that.
I think I might have answered the question about commission if they're currently an accommodation business and they take commission on their website. No, this is just another mechanism to do that. You would still, as having implemented Trvlr.ai, you would take some commission. And then this is really for DMOs, not businesses. Look, predominantly DMOs are in the business of putting itineraries out there and igniting people's ideas and desire to come to a destination. Allowing them to move to that next stage and making it so easy with the planning, logistics, booking is a natural thing for them to do. So yes, predominantly for DMOs, but if you are selling or promoting tours and activities in your area, you could use it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
How will you link to accommodation availability? Yes, it'll be main channels like SiteMinder. And you'll be going with the main where you can get, 80% or so of the accommodation through it. So is this like another channel that we have to register with? It's not pulling data out of the HW, or is it a widget that we can install? I think I missed a step. It's going to depend on the implementation, isn't it, Daniel? But if you've already got your product information and inventory in a booking system like Resd or in the future SiteMinder or the main restaurant ones, it is pulled from there. And you don't really have to do much. If you don't have that presently, then Daniel has access for you to set up a free Resd account and access it that way.
Yeah. And for someone, a client like Agnes, the way they've integrated Trvlr is through this link here. So if you click on plan your trip, it'll open up their version of Trvlr.
I like this question. Is this a plugin? It would be fantastic if we could add it to our website so guests can book their tours. We run it. Yes, that's exactly. This is like a plugin, isn't it, Daniel?
Exactly like a plugin. So that's what Agnes have done. They've plugged it into their site. You click plan your trip and it opens up Trvlr, rebranded as them.
Look, there are so many amazing questions coming in that are quite detailed, and I think this is going to be really useful if you were to do a 15-minute chat with Daniel, and because not everyone, but there's a lot of slightly different situations in terms of how you might be able to use this. So I think for hotels, accommodation providers who provide any kind of tour concierge or booking service, no brainer. This is, and you can contain it to the products that you want in there. You can work out with Daniel the commission levels, all those sorts of things, easy. And you can attach it to your website, and you can you can, through tags, if you use Google Tag Manager or another tagging platform for your website, you can easily tag certain pages or things on your website. And this goes for everybody, to be able to drop them into this planning tool.
Yeah.
So it's an easy implementation from somebody who's had to watch the pain of web developments for tourism operators and DMOs over many years. This one's an easy one. So it's good. Because there's something I wanted to show you. I know that everyone just wants to know what can they do now, which is really important. But I think that for all of us, we need to sort of stop and think. We do need to move fast, but we need to think about the whole picture. One of the things that bothers me about AI, and I'm already seeing it, is where organizations are embarking on great big development projects, and AI wasn't thought about a year ago or 18 months ago. They're getting to the end of that development project, and they've developed their systems in such a way that it's really hard to then adapt and add these sorts of things on. So I think we all need to kind of think about preparing for this. So what I've done is, and I'm happy to take people through this individually, just book a free 15-minute with me. And I'm very happy to talk you through it, is I've sort of mocked up and created a structure for an AI strategy for tourism, where I've set a vision and objectives that I think are really pertinent at the current time, that really focus on customer experience and improving, planning as well as operations internally, driving innovation in the tourism industry. So they've got these kind of focuses around the customer, around operational processes and improvements, organizational adaptation and agility, and responsible governance with AI implementation. I noticed a comment in the chat from Vicky about always stating, being transparent and publishing the sources of your content and asking ChatGPT to do that so that you can be fully transparent. That's just one part of AI governance, is how you are going, what will be your policies around that, and how will you ensure the integrity of information going forward. Just very quickly, just thinking about this structure. And I mentioned Vicky's name, because Vicky and I worked together back in the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse, and we're always pushing on innovation and change. And we always knew that it's the technical and functional, but there's very much the human side as well, and how as humans in the organization, we have to adapt. So I've mapped out, and I've got real detail behind this, which I'm happy to share with people, kind of what I would include in an AI strategy for tourism presently around current opportunities. I would really think about current opportunities that you can move on quickly. I would make provision in my strategy and future business plans for future opportunities. I would certainly think about the governance and ethical implementation now. You probably have some form of governance framework now. It needs to be extended beyond data privacy and security, but also your ethical usage of AI. And there's a thing called AI auditing. And I think we'll see this will probably come into standard business practice about how you're using AI, where you could potentially be audited. And then AI implementation roadmap. So yes, current opportunities, future opportunities, but really, really looking at it's not only developers like Daniel who need to have a technology roadmap. We should all have a technology roadmap now, or a product mode roadmap integrated with it. So having 3 phases, 0 to 6 months for those current opportunities, 6 to 12 months, and then, out to 2 years. That sort of focus initially, I think, on customer servicing and itinerary planning. In that middle and future, we'd go beyond that. So more advanced using analytics. At the moment, also, we want to try things that are light integration, plugins, apps, which is why I like Trvlr.ai so much, because it's something that can be tried straight away with a light integration. Keep really nimble. And then, of course, measuring success is super important. And I've got more details sitting behind that as well. And in the future, you'll be able to use AI in that research, in that data, to really help you to develop business and marketing plans and product development plans, because you'll be able to use AI to be able to analyze that data. And larger companies are now, it's just the small business nature of tourism, we're more likely to be a little bit lagging on that one. And then I've mapped out for you about culture of innovation with the people, cultural alignment of our policies and the type of people we want to attract to work with us, agile decision making, and cross-department AI integration, because we all know, anyone who's been involved in change in organisations and technology projects, it's got to be across the organisation. So please contact me if you would like some more information about that. But just winding things up, impacts of travel and tourism. I don't know, chat to us what you took out of today's presentation. Is there something that stood out for you? Feel free to chat. I think I've said it already, that the current focus for the AI revolution for tourism and travel is on customer experience and planning and booking. We explored today how consumers know that trip planning can be easier now. That you can see how many of you are using ChatGPT presently. But ChatGPT and most chatbots, they're just not able to yet provide to us that logistical accuracy and booking, that whole experience over chat. So, you know, there's got to be advancement that's coming. Trvlr.ai is more advanced in that way and can be implemented now in terms of performing that really good logistical function to be able to give people reliable content that is backed up by inventory and availability, as well as transport logistical data. And I think preparing for the AI revolution, no one knows where this is going to land. We have to be agile, but we have to move quickly. And I think a strategy, even if it's just a strategy on a page, is a great place to start to help us move in that good direction. I've given you there, if you would like to book a time with Daniel, you can do that. You can scan that QR code or just jump on his website. So he's happy to do a demo with you. And I'm also happy, book a 15-minute no-cost call with me. I'm more than happy. If anyone wants to talk digital strategy, AI strategy, I'm very happy to work through that with you. And Daniel and I can fertilize as well in terms of those ideas and thinking, and make sure that, you know, if we need to bring Daniel into the conversation, we can. So we're right on midday in Queensland, 1 o'clock in our southern states. And I would like to thank you all very much for your participation. It just shows how interested people are in the topic, and we will send out access to these links in the recording. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you soon. Okay. Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.